Welcome you lovely lot to our walk around here at Manor Park South, or Barons. As we know, we've got some wonderful stuff. Now this is Wednesday, we're going to put this up on Wednesday night, and if you're clever and you're swift and you're fast, you'll have liked and subscribed and rung that bell, and you'll be watching these good and early. You'll be getting all the good stuff before everybody else. So we've got a viewing day today on Wednesday, we've got Thursday, Friday and Saturday morning. So if you see anything you like a little bit more information or a bit more time to have a look around, please do come on down, have a look. Now we've got some pictures on the site. We can also do any book packs you want opening, any walk around videos you want. You can see some lovely people have come down to have a look in person. That's what it's all about. Let's crack on, shall we? Another bit of great news. Not only have we got swanky new toilets here, if you're coming in person on Saturday, but also we're putting, for the remote buyers, our online bidding system. You can now buy basically through the Manor Park infrastructure. So if you're normally used to buying through the Manor Park site, you can on Saturday for this auction. There's no pre-registration fees now. We've brought everything in line with our northern policy. So you just basically register to bid. It's obviously a legally binding contract if you do bid, but there's no money up front, only to pay when you've won the car of your dreams, or bike, simple as that. Well, this is definitely the car of my dreams. Look at this, oosh, absolutely lovely. 1993 Jaguar XJ 3.2 Sovereign. Not only is it in lovely condition in a really, really great mid-90s colour, it's done 61,000 miles, my friends. Now normally these are a little bit tired. I still love them when they're knackered, but this one is really not. So arches where they all go are lovely. Rear windows where they all go, round the back, absolutely fantastic. This is a garaged, cherished, beautiful, low mileage, fully historied car. And it shows, it really does. It's still got the main dealer plates on, still got the stickers. It's got a lot of history with the car. And in the more 90s metallic green. Bumpers are really good. This is how picky I'm having to be on this car, look. Tiny dent on the bumper. Normally on an old XJ you're looking for corrosion, loads of paint. It's got none of that. The interior, as you can see, is beautiful. And what would you pay for that? 5 to 5.5, which I think is a bit of a bargain for how gorgeous it is. Tyres are good. Really can't stress enough, guys, how good the bodywork is on this. I think you wouldn't have to spend a lot of time or money to make that car almost perfect. And for 5 and 5.5, anyone who's got an old XJ will know you can drop that on a big service when it's a tough time. So I like that very much. Lot 137, if you want to smoke around in XJ comfort, I'm giving that a straight 10, straight 10. Now this is terrible. Why do they do this to me? Why do they give me cars that I would like to own for no reserve? It's not only an Outback that you can see in white, which is quite rare, and fully colour coded, because normally these were two-tone, so fully single colour, I think looks mega. This is a 2002 Legacy Outback, but look, my friends, look, it's flat six. So they did a limited run of these Outbacks with the monster engine. So basically almost the derivative of the SVX engine. So 3 litre, flat six. It's a Porsche with the engine at the front, isn't it? Symmetrical all-wheel drive, flat six, which makes a great noise. It's an Outback, so it's the vehicle that really started the whole jacked up estate phase. It's going to be cheap, it's no reserve. It's done a high mileage, 144, but monster history. There are a few bits to point out, a few little rusty blebs. You can just see a tiny bit on the door there. There's a tiny bit around the sunroof, but I'm being, again, super picky. The car is straight and level, massive service history, stamps from 2002 to 2020, and the last stamp showed a full service being carried out at 136. It's got an MOT all the way to December as well. And you know what's interesting? I have sold a lot of Outbacks in my time. Half of my customers were the sort of farming types. The other half, and I kid you not, landed gentry. Some of the biggest houses I've ever visited in my life was to deliver Subaru Outbacks, because they're just an old money car. Classless, wonderful motor car that you can park anywhere. Great car, and it's no reserve, so you get to set the price. I will have a little cheeky bid on that with you, because I just love an Outback of any engine variety. But an H6, yes please. Now just pointing out, whilst bidding, cracking the windscreen. Now I do a lot of work with Subaru UK. I can tell you now, they've got these on the shelf in Ryder Street in West Bromwich, which any dealer can happily order up for you. So, but please bid knowing that you need to get the windscreen sorted. It will fail its next MOT if you haven't done it. So please do it. Right, Jaguars that have been impeccably maintained. I've already showed you one, and I do apologise for our very industrious neighbours that are making some noise there that you might be able to hear. Apologies for that. We're on a hard-working and industrial estate. It's the heartland of Great British industry, what can I tell you? Now, talking of Great British industry, there's been a lot of work on this. 2003 Jaguar S-Type V6 Auto, and you're looking at it thinking, that's pretty, that's been well maintained. My word, you better sit down for this one, team. So it's no reserve, first of all. Sea frost green is the colour. It's only had 2 former keepers, and you've got to view this. The bodywork is exceptional. No scuffs on the alloys or the paint. No rips or tears on the leather. Jaguar Enthusiast Club owned. Now, we've got the bills for this. First of all, 61,000 miles. Second of all, let me look you in the eye. £18,000. £18,000 on an S-Type. I'd like to get the vendor and just kiss them on the cheek. That's exceptional. I mean, S-Types are nice cars, but let's be brutally honest with each other here. They have yet to reach the level of Jaguar greatness within the classic Jag canon, where people normally spend 18 grand on them. An old XJ, an XJS, without doubt, that's the kind of money you'd put into one of those. But 18 grand on this is why it's so beautiful and immaculate. So if you are thinking I'd like to own an S-Type, that is just stunning. Literally maintained regardless of cost. It's a phrase that motor traders use all the time. There it is, embodied in that flawless motor car. Literally it's flawless, and it's no reserve. I can't get him any better than that for you, I really can't. I like that very much. I think that has huge waft potential all over it. £18,000. The underneath was restored by Crossways Body Shop. It's also covered by lots of magazine articles in the Club magazine. 20 stamps in the book, every single MOT. My word. 60 photos on a USB stick showing you everything that's been done. So all the money's been spent, so you don't have to. I think that's a particularly pleasant motor car, and as I say, no reserve. The price will be absolutely spot on. Another fantastic S-Type. I think they're coming into their own. When the S-Type came out, they were a pastiche motor car, very much a hark back to old Jaguar design. They've gone through the period where they kind of look a bit neo-old and weird, and then they're coming back round again, I think now, to a really balanced, nice-looking motor car. This one has done 58,000 miles. Nigel, our wonderful consigner, has driven this and said it drives beautifully. If I was being pedantic, I'll get the wheels refurbed on there. Again, this is a no-reserve car. Presents really well. 58,000 miles. The paintwork's really good. The interior is really good as well. What's the driver's bolster? A little bit on the driver's bolsters to do. A little bit of alloy refurb to do. So you're not spending much. And Nigel says it drives like a brand new one. But you know the reason you really want this car, my friends, is because it's ULEZ exempt. So buy it and drive it into London. You've only got to pay your congestion charge. I like that a lot. So you're getting an inexpensive motor car in a lovely low mileage that you can beat the system. I even like the colour. So once again, no reserve. You tell me what you think that's worth. Now this one's back in with a slightly lower reserve. So this is a chance to buy a bit of touring car greatness. The 850R Estate. I can't tell you how much love I have for these. Really nice car, this higher mileage vehicle, 172,000 miles. A little bit of patina, a little bit of rust. We'll just walk around the car now, point out a few tiny imperfections. She's not a show queen, but she is the perfect car to take you, the family, the kids, the dog, to the park, to the motorway, very, very quickly now. We've lowered it now. Guide price is now 4 to 5.5. Some light modifications, the brake's been upgraded to police specs. It's got the bigger police spec brakes on, larger discs and calipers on there, new seals and sliders, new front shocks on it, new top mounts, it's had a new battery, new oil lines, new cooling hoses, new rad, new aircon bumper condenser, so the aircon blows ice cold. The interior is worn pretty well, but if you look at the seats, she looks a little bit, you could probably get that recolonised, you know, a good repairman would get that sorted out for you. Multi-changer in the boot and factory Bose speakers. Hard to think of a more practical classic than that. I've got a V70, which is a brilliant car, and I use it a lot in the winter because it's a Volvo, it's literally made for it. But that's quite a lot faster, and I think quite a lot cooler. I actually prefer the 850 front to the V70 front. It's a bit chunkier and more bluff. And like I said, we've got touring car credentials. I think that's a lot of car for the money. Come and buy that, you'll be happy. Now moving inside, this one's back in again. Again, lower estimate and guide on this. The 2015 Mercedes G-Class, the Cowland class wagon. Isn't it an eyeful, that? What I love about a G-Class, particularly one that's been spec'd very tasteful like this, it's really hard to tell what year it is. So if you're the kind of person that likes to keep people guessing as to what year your motor car is, I think this is a very prime candidate for a private plate. Why we like this car very much, apart from if you come around here and have a look at the delightful stance that this car has. Very nice mileage on this as well. And this is an ex-main dealer approved used car very, very recently. And as it went through, so it's the Blue Tech, which is the very nice, relatively economical engine. if any G-Class can be economical. You'll get half decent gas mileage out of this. Diamond, silver, blue metallic. And 2 years ago, this was in the main dealer network. Listers prepped this car, and when they prepped this car, they prepped it to the tune of 10 grand. So you're buying a dealer quality car without the dealer quality price. I like that very much. Every extra factory fitted roof, 36,000 miles, which the MOTs completely substantiate. And you still have a paper service book with the G-Wagon, and they're all stamped up. And since that 10K prep at Listers, it's only done 7,500 miles. Never been off-road, never towed, never had a tow bar fitted. 47 to 52 to feel like Lord or Lady of the Manor. That just seems like an awful lot of truck. Go and have a look at how much a new one costs. Once you've recovered from that shock, come back and talk to me about bidding on that one on Saturday. Or do you prefer your Mercedes in 80s Dictator spec or 80s Rockstar spec? It can only be a 500 SEL. This was literally the choice of every government leader or Dictator or Rockstar of the 1980s. You had to have a 500 SEL. Why? Because it's an S-Class, so it will go forever. But more importantly, if you come around, the long wheelbase version, we love a stretch. So have a look in the back of here. What made the SEL so special, apart from the literally bomb-proof build quality, is look at all that legroom. That is the L of the SEL. So monster V8, 4.9 litre V8. What can I tell you? The owner's been spending money. So new stainless steel exhaust, refurb wheels, new tyres, new plugs, new leads, new fuel pump relay, new fuel pump. Lots of work underneath, lots of fuel system work has been done. The fuel tank's been drained. Have a look. I could literally be here all afternoon telling you what it's had. It's not perfect, but she's all there. And because of that, 7,000 to 8,000 is the estimate with 105,000 miles. But it has got a full year's MOT. So it drives beautifully with a ton of money and time spent. 4 years MOT in the best colour as well, in silver. Mercs always look good in silver, the German national racing colour. And sit in the front, sit in the back, it doesn't matter. It's just a lovely place to travel with the best engine. Not frugal or economical, but that's not why you buy a 500 SEL, just cool. Yes, please, I would like to have that one. This one's back in again with a lower guide price. A beautiful, you can see where the S-Type styling came from. We've got two of the later S-Types. This is the original, this is where it all started. And isn't this pretty? Just drink that in. As a package of colour, trim, wood, and come and have a look inside, because that's where you'll be sitting if you buy this beautiful vehicle. Look at that, look at the condition of everything on this car. So there's a 3.4 manual overdrive, an older restoration that's been done over a few years. I like old restorations, you know this, because if anything's going to bubble up or come through, or any filler's going to sink, you're going to see it. And what I see here is just a very nice, very pretty car that looks like it could have been restored a year ago. So whoever did the restoration, kudos to you, you've done a lovely job. Blue piping on the seats, which I do like. The wood is gleaming. A little bit of discoloration on some of the wood, but I don't dislike that at all. Car's mechanically excellent, it drives beautifully. And it comes from Chelmsford originally. As do a lot of my family actually, Chelmsford and Romford, the Cowlands. So okay, she's an Essex car that's ended up in Southampton. Just very pretty, you can just see the very, very start here, look, because it's an older restoration, just the very, very start of a little bit of paint delamination just on the edge of the top of the door, which I think, given the price of the car, will very much forgive. That's about it. Tiny little bit of pitting on the door handles. I'm being so pedantic. We do here down at Barron's, we do put like a score system, so if you want to know how good is the bodywork, how good is the engine, obviously it's always subjective, but the team do put their star rating out of 5, what they think that's worth. That's a 4 on the body, a 4 on the engine and gearbox and electrical. It's a 4-star car, that one, basically. So really nice, very presentable, what we call a daily driver concours level car. If you want to do like a club show and shine, she's perfect for that. A 5 would obviously be a concours car, would absolutely be a no questions, ready to go and show. Now I like this very much indeed. I do like a DB7. Ian Callum's Meisterwork. Now this could be a very, very cheap car for someone. DB7 Vantage, you've worked that bit out for yourself. Now this car's been in storage, dark blue, as you can see, one owner. It's been dry stored for 10 years. Now it starts and runs, but it does have a slight misfire. Now it's been in storage for a long, long time. I am sure if you went through and just checked fuel system leads, a few other bits and pieces, I'm sure you'll find that. But obviously, because we like to describe things honestly and flag any potential problems, We've guided it so that you're going to have to spend a little bit of money to sort that out. Drove itself in quite fine. Also, what else can I tell you? The electric roof is working, but the carpets have had a little bit of moth attack, or perhaps mice attack. So a few little tiny, tiny chooser marks. So give yourself some budget to make this beautiful. You'll have a very nice car, but because there is room to improve, Cars Guided, wait for it, £9,000 to £11,000 to own your own Aston Martin drop top, which I think probably for a couple of grand you can make into a spectacularly nice car, really nice car. So then say for no more than 13 grand, you're smoking around in this. Does that not sound appealing to you? Does to me. This is exactly the kind of car that our producers, when we were making the TV show, this was the kind of car they'd have killed for, because it's what we call like a 90% car. It's nearly there, and all the jobs you have to do aren't going to be hideously expensive. So it's probably, I would imagine, just go through plug leads, all of the initial, put some new plugs in, give it a really good service, go through. I bet you'll find most of that problem disappears. And again, that's just a trim job to sort out where the moths and the mice have been. So have a good look at that. Again, don't forget, viewing days are precisely for this kind of thing. If you're thinking that sounds like I could make some money on that, or buy a very nice car for less than I should, absolutely you could, but please come down and satisfy yourself. And if you do have an Aston Martin or XJX expert that you think might know the problem, bring them down. Because knowledge is power. You might be able to find what it is before the auction day and buy it at the right money. Other bargainers motor cars, the team have done so well. They've got loads of cars that just need a little bit of finishing. What we've done really well with in this sale is getting cars out of storage and into the sale. So in a lot of cases, the cars have been stored very well for a number of years, but just need that little push over the edge, just that final bit, MOT service, just finishing off, recommissioning to get them back into service. This is a great example. Now, this is a no reserve car. Let me tell you why. It's been off the road for a number of years, last on the road in 2017. The current mileage is 106,000 miles. It's got the split rim genuine AMG monoblocks, which I love. Original service book. It's got the hard top that you can see, which is always worth having. The soft top doesn't work, and also the canvas needs replacing. So you can either choose to run it around in coupe form like this and not care about such things. But if you are wanting to make it perfect, and I could argue that the car is probably worth doing that too down the line, budget for a roof replacement, budget for getting the roof working, which could be something very simple on these. Starts first time, runs lovely. It will need a full service, but it's just a nice car. It's just a really level, lovely car. Don't let the fact it's been in storage put you off. Look at it as an opportunity. Look at it to buy this car for less money than it would be in absolutely perfect order. There are a few jobs to do. You need to service it. You need to put a roof on if you want it immaculate. You need to get the roof working. But because of that, it's no reserve. Let me tell you what else it needs here. Roof recommissioning, goes through the gears, lovely. Again, service the gearbox, recommends the vendor. Everything's original. Yeah, just a few bits to do. Again, give yourself a budget just for the mechanicals of a grand or so. If you want to then get into the cosmetics, another grand or so. But I would just get it running, recommissioned. Run it around with a hardtop on. They look really cool. And they're a bit stiffer and a bit quieter with a hardtop on. But it's a no reserve car you cannot lose, because you get to set the price. You're only going to pay what the car's worth. Now this is back in, I cannot for the life of me understand why we still have this, because we've lowered the estimate once again. I think it is one of the prettiest scimitars I've ever seen, not least of all the colour, which is a gorgeous old MGA colour this. Have a look, a ton of money has been spent. Now the rare cars anyway, and this is one of the best ones I've seen, it's rebodied Sabre 6, Ogle did the design of course. Number 173, and the current vendor is a real collector of these cars, which is why this one is so nice. It's had a lot of money spent, 8 grand alone on the paintwork on that. Interior's been sorted, overdrive's been rebuilt, so that gorgeous 8 grand's worth of paint that you've seen. But the interior is largely original, which I love. Have a look inside. It's just really nice. Loads of old MOTs, loads of photos, the old green logbook, owner's handbook. There is a stunning history folder for this file, and it really is a car that has received a lot of love. We've had a few project ones of these. We had one at the north in the last sale. We had a red one here in the previous sale. They seem to go needing a lot of work. This one's had all the work done, which I can assure you, from great experience, it's always cheaper to buy one that's fully restored and has everything done. Let someone else take the headache and the bills and all of that, which has been done very much on this car, and she's ready to go. She's ready to show, ready to drive and have some fun. £16,000 to £19,000 would buy you that motor car, and I think summer would be a very wonderful season for you this year, all the shows you could take that to. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Bedford CF. Now, I have a huge amount of time for the Bedford CF in any form. I don't know if you know, my first car that I was a part owner of was a Bedford CF as a small child. We used to have gang meetings in the back of a scrap Bedford CF, which we bought literally for our pocket money as tiny children. Had no engine, no gearbox, it was just a shell, but it was in my mate's backyard and it was cool. We thought it was the best thing ever. So Bedford CFs are awesome anyway. I think it is almost a British GMC Vangura. If you're an 18 fan, you'll know what I mean. A lot of that styling carried over from the Americans. But look at this, 1973, on slot mags. So she's everything exempt, she's tax exempt, she's ULEZ exempt, she's MOT exempt. But what she's not exempt of is holiday fun, because somebody has spent a lot of money converting this into a very, very nice camper van. Paintwork, bodywork is really good, I have to say. So come through to the back, because in here in 2022, look at this. Super duper extra lock as well, no one's breaking into your van tonight. So you can sleep. There you go. Look at this is not your normal knackered old camper van, because if you look up into the roof particularly, look how nice that is. So complete interior overhaul was completed July 22, new upholstery, new custom fitted cabinets, floors, split charger, leisure batteries, LED lights, a fridge, a 35 litre water tank, solar charger, an uprated alternator to make sure that all works. I mean, look at it. It's clean, it's lovely. Now you're looking at this thinking, this isn't going to be a lot of money, Paul, because you've looked at Volkswagen prices and transit van prices and you're thinking, that's going to be 15 grand. I can't afford this. And then you're looking at just the tiniest bit of rust, look, tiny, tiny, tiny bit, which I would get into now while it's pennies to sort. I mean, those are very good gutters for an old CF. And you're thinking, Paul, it's so much money, I can't afford it. But it's actually estimated at £3,500 to £5,000. Imagine if that was a Volkswagen or a Transit. That would be £11 million, wouldn't it? Like a good Volkswagen bus with that level of spec, a 70s bay window, would be probably 20, I'd have thought, at least 15. So for a third of that, and I would argue a little bit cooler because it isn't a Volkswagen, and that's speaking as a huge Volkswagen fan. And look at the interior, look. Come look at this. Look how nicely it's all been done, look. All this has been reupholstered, the seats have been done, the dash has been done. Someone has spent some real money on this and they've done it to a really nice standard. Is it fast? No. You'll be in the slow lane all the way there, but you won't care. You'll have your tunes on, kids will be singing away in the back, dog will be snoozing on the floor. You'll get to the campsite or classic car show, because that's the other thing about these as a classic. It's a bona fide hardcore classic. Very cool thing to drive anyway. But then you get to whatever show, free accommodation. So just use man or lady maths to justify the cost of this in the money that you won't spend in hotels, or you don't have to freeze in a tent. £5,000, get it bought. That's an order. Right, over to this. This is Duncan, our lovely auctioneer, who's not only a great man and fabulous auctioneer you've seen, he's a man of great taste, and this is his own personal beach buggy. Isn't it gorgeous? It's a jazz buggy, this one. Very much in the style of a GP Myers Manx at the front with a slightly more bulbous rear end, which I really like. I think these are a very nicely proportioned buggy. And Duncan has built this beautifully. He's used all the best bits. MOT exempt, of course, but he's put an MOT on it. It's got 8,000 miles since the build. Really love this purple colour. And the whole thing just looks like it's just been built. He has used it, but he's obviously used it very lovingly and carefully, because just look, bucket seats. And what I like about it a lot, not only the hardtop, which is a really cool addition that makes it a little bit more practical, because if you go out in the rain, you won't get wet, or only your arms will get wet. But it's just, it looks period correct. It looks like something that could have been built late 60s, early 70s. Very, very groovy. Starts, runs, ready to go. Even underneath, all the floor pans have been clean painted. These lovely deep dish chromies which really set it off. That's a big fat 10 out of 10 for me. £8,000 to £9,000. You couldn't build that for less than 20, even if you did all the work yourself. Cheap buggy and beautiful. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. Look at this. If you want a big motor with a big engine, have a look at that. Have a feast of my V8. Now, you've already guessed, a 1960 Ford Thunderbird. If you wanted a Yank, this is a really good year, because the 50s Thunderbirds are very, very expensive. And the 60 is a little bit less loved, though I think it's got more presence in a lot of ways. I mean, look at that profile. The level of detail that American car manufacturers were putting into their cars at this point just blows your mind. They're huge inside, proper land yacht, and that lovely reverse rate windscreen that cars of the late 50s and very early 60s had. But look at the dash trim. It really was the end of the jet age, and what was lovely about American cars this period, the inspiration came hugely from aeronautics and space travel, which of course was very trendy at the time. Had a recent interior and mechanical fettlings, had a new carburettor. It was actually in a Kuwaiti prince's private collection and bought as a non-runner, and I'm delighted to say it is now very much a runner. So haven't got much information because she's fresh in, but it's really good on the body. The team tell me it drives very well. And in terms of presence, I mean, it's pure Batman, isn't it? It's almost Batmobile-esque at the back here. I know that was an Lincoln Futura, and this is a Ford, so there's a bit of family resemblance there. But that is pure Batmobile, isn't it? You can just see where they've gone with that. I think that's fantastic, and you could own that for somewhere between £9,000 and £11,000, and I struggle to think of any car on the planet for that amount of money that you'll have more fun with. Great, the American car scene as well, because particularly in a black car, you can do the hot rod scene, the rockabilly scene, any classic car scene. It's just epic. Do a bit of prom work, bit of wedding work, whatever you want. That car has many, many lives. Have a look on the website, but come and have a look at the condition. It's really very good. Obviously the paint isn't perfect because it's a 1960 car, but I think you could mop a lot of that up. It's a very sound car that I think you could make some lovely little aesthetic improvements to for not much money at all. One of my favourite cars of all time, 840, 850. This era of 8 Series Coupe is just brilliant, isn't it? It's BMW doing what they do just so well. And hasn't it aged well? Doesn't that car look like it's not what it is, which is a 1996 car? It's a 30-year-old car, pretty much, that looks like a 10-year-old one. Pop-up headlights, of course, which makes it very groovy. Now, what can I tell you? 1996. Grey leather interior, 106,000 miles from new, 6 former keepers, and a massive file of history. She's going to need a little bit of a clean and a polish, just starting to go, a few little blebs at the front of the car, we should expect with the mileage. It's had paint, you can see the scuttle and the bonnet are a very slight mismatch, but the car isn't going to be huge amounts of money for how wonderful it is. Over 10 grand has been spent by our current keeper. If you've never looked inside one of these, you'll see what all the fuss is about. So I love the 6 Series, but the 8 Series to me is just the best of the best. You could recolonise that leather on the driver's seat and get something really nice out of it. As I say, 80 service invoices and parts replacement bills in the history, and it was driven here without fault. It's really tidy, there's a few little bits to do. The rear screen's delaminating, which is often a thing that happens. Some classic car policies will cover rear screen replacement. Check if yours does. You can still get those. That will be a slightly more expensive thing. You can either live with it or try and get it replaced. The tyres look good. It's just starting to go where they go on the rear wing. A few quid to spend, but I would certainly say a car that's worth spending a few quid on. The market for these is very buoyant, and whenever we have them in, people always want to buy them. And of course, the 850 scares people off because it's the V12. The 840 is the V8. People seem to like it more as a used car buy because the bills are going to be smaller. You've got 4 less cylinders to start with, but also they're a slightly simpler affair, a little bit easier to fix. I would like to own that very much, and if you've got somewhere between 9 and 10, you could own it too. Right, Sovereign Corner. Talking of which, actually, look over there. Do you remember I bought a Sovereign? I've come in it today. Hang on, that's the old Sovereign, the 308. A great car, but then Jaguar went and did this, made it all aluminium, it actually made it lighter, even though it's a physically bigger car. They made it lighter by making the whole body aluminium. Very, very trick. This is very nice. 2007 long wheelbase. New MOT, no advisories, 11 services in the book, 3 owners from new. And it's just a nice car. It's clean, it's tidy. It's a really rare classic because they didn't make many of these. It's only done 42,000 miles. It's exceptionally clean, I have to say. And why is the long wheelbase such a great thing? Let me show you inside. Because if you sit in the front, if you come past, I shall open the door. So there, look at that. So this is a British supplied, British spec car in very lovely condition, and that mileage is correct. So it's great in the front if you're driving, but if you want a classic car or a different, older car that your teenage children will think is absolutely fabulous, look at that. Look at the room in the back. They've got their own climate system, their own charging station. And you could buy that car for £9,000 to £11,000 with a big fat, full fat V8 up front in silver, which looks really, really lovely. Paint is gorgeous. Wheels are gorgeous. Doesn't need much, that car, to make it really super. And I keep going on about this. This is obviously a mid-noughties car. If you are currently spending £400 a month on a lease car, why? When you could be driving around in this. I'm daily driving an old V8. It's now doing about 25 to the gallon. It's great. It's costing me nothing. I bought it for £2 and a bit grand. I put 4 new tyres on it. This is a car that you could run on no finance payment instead of paying £400 a month. You'll get maybe late 20s to the gallon, but these are small things. When you look that good, it doesn't matter. Now that's a very nice car. The next one is exceptional. And the reason being, it's basically all of my favourite things in one car. It's a Jaguar long wheelbase from Japan. Now, if you don't know, Japanese spec cars are always a little bit better. And also because the Japanese don't use salt on their roads, underneath, we've had this on the ramp underneath, it's like brand new. I kid you not, it's like brand new underneath. It has never seen salt. So although that car's very nice, the silver one, it looks like a car from its period. It's exactly what you'd expect to get. This looks like it came off the boat about a week ago. It's exceptional. So not only is it a lovely colour, Gold Leaper may not be your thing, that can always be taken off. Slightly higher mileage this one, 82,000 miles, supercharged. There you go, Japanese long wheelbase Jaguar with the supercharged. I just can't make it any better than that. I really can't. And look inside. It's got full Yakuza spec headrest there, look. Wooden steering wheel. It is very plush, isn't it? I love that. That feels really nice when you hold it. You have to look at this one. If you are thinking, should I buy basically a XJ 350? Come and look at this one. I would love this. Isn't it awesome? Crazy mileage, 82,000. All the long wheelbase cars are well spec'd. That one's pretty much got the lot on. I would imagine that belonged to somebody very important in Japan. And the number is XJ54XXX. That's staying with it as well. Like I say, can't stress enough, either of these two cars, the silver one is brilliant, the black one is exceptional. So whichever one you prefer, come and have a look. Come and have a look. Another really beautiful car is this. XJS convertible, lot 131. Just come and drink in the front 3/4 of that. Isn't that still such a pretty car? You may have noticed we do like a Jaguar down here. That's because Tony, our big gaffer down here in the south, he does love a Jaguar. So for that reason, people bring them to us and we're very grateful for that. Obviously legally requirement, it has the leaper on the front, which every Southampton Jaguar must have. This is very nice. Registered in 1989, 9 previous owners plus the current vendor. It's been with our current vendor since April 2019, so he's owned it for 6 years. Now it's got a limited documented history, but if you look at the MOT and mileage history, that checks out that the 46,000 miles appears to be correct. Really nice overall condition, and it's been maintained again by the vendor. No expense spared. So the exhaust system was replaced in 2019 with a custom stainless system. That looks and sounds very, very nice. I would like to point out it is a little bit louder than the standard Jaguar exhaust, which in my world is brilliant. I think that makes it much, much better. I would say the seats just need a little bit of recolouring. I think they might have been recoloured and painted in the past, just looking at how that's fading. I would get those done again. That would be money well spent. Steering's tight, it's accurate, it rides and drives very, very well. The centre console's been refurbished, that's really good. It's just a nice car that's had a lot of money spent, that's really lovely and genuine. I particularly like the colour. I particularly like this era of wheel as well. It's not going to be expensive, £8,000 to £10,000. You could be smoking about in that. Do love an XJS cab. And do you like your Jaguars a little bit older? The Mark II, the perennial, isn't it? Everybody loves a Mark II. In the 1980s, people were fighting for these things, and people would spend 6 figures to restore them in the 80s, when 6 figures was a lot of money. This is nice. You didn't have to spend any money on it because she's ready to go. Gorgeous 1961. Got the old English white. It's got the ox blood interior, which is very classy. Lovely contrast between the two. Have a look at that. See if you can see yourself in there. Really nice wood on it as well. The bodies are 4, the paints are 4, the engines are 4. 3.8 litre manual overdrive. It's been in South Africa, which explains the lovely body condition. All the UK duties are paid. It's UK registered correctly, and it appears to be really sound with no corrosion, like a lot of South African cars. The interior is very lovely, as you can see. That's leather, not vinyl as well, because some were vinyl. That's leather, my friends, and it smells gorgeous. Car runs gorgeous as well. New clutch master and slave have been fitted. The brakes have been overhauled. New master cylinder, new servo. All new brake cylinders, new stainless liners, new brake pads. I think you can get the picture here. Someone has loved this and given it a lot of attention. It's just a nice car that needs a new owner. Tiny little dimple dent there. I'm being super picky because the car is so clean. 16 to 19 would take you that home. Got a really nice 3x3 registration number, being a pre-suffix number plate as well. Doesn't it look good? Doesn't it look good? I visited the guys at P&K Thornton yesterday. They do love a Jaguar there, and they had some lovely Mark IIs and bits and pieces in. What's great about this car is they're still hugely regarded by the Goodwood sets. Members meeting this weekend. This is very much a car you could take to members meeting down at Goodwood, and they would greet you like a long lost hero. That's a car that works in a lot of places, and for under 20k, even with fees I would imagine, that's a wonderful way to travel. Now, unashamed favourite, this is going to be in my own top 5 videos, I can tell you that now. I do a little on my own channel, a little top 5 my favourite cars in the auction. This is for sure going in there. The Saab 99 is one of my favourite cars of all time. Designed by Sixten Sasson and the precursor to the new generation, not the new generation 900, the old generation 900 that came after. What a thing, what a thing. You can't believe this shape came out in 1968, and I have a 1968, and ran all the way through to like 82, 83, and this one is an 82. So you're talking about the zenith of the development of the Saab 99, when they really did have it down. Things you need to check for on these is, have the bumpers, which are self-repairing, have they been smacked? Not on the front. Let's have a look at the back. I think the back looks in pretty good order. A little bit on the corner, like so many of them did. That was the whole point of the bumper. But can we just talk about the colour combination? It is just, literally, it's come back round, hasn't it? This metallic brown is currently in the Porsche and Audi ranges. Brown velour. Car's done 102,000 miles, which I can tell you now on a Saab is nothing. The paint needs a little bit of love. The paint's, I think it's been repainted a long time ago. And it's just coming up, but it could just do with a polish and a flat. You can just see a few imperfections on the paint there. Tiny, tiny bit of a pull on the velour, which I think a good trimmer could save that actually. I can feel someone's actually put nail varnish on that, stop it splitting. Good trick. Gutters are amazing. Now what are you going to pay for this? Somewhere between about 4 and 5, I think. 3 previous keepers, and the second and third being father and son. Now it's been in a dry barn between 2014 and 2024, where it was bought by our current vendor and brought to the auction. Now he's spent some money, rear calipers, shoes, brake pads, liners, fuel hoses, clutch bearing, rebuilt carb. And there's a load more. There's a monster invoice with the car as well. 4-speed manual in the best colour. It's got a sagging headlining, but they all do that, sir, because when they built this car, they used these new fire retardant glues, which were very fire retardant, but they weren't very gluey. So all the headliners fall down in Saab 99s. Relatively easy fix. They just take the trims off, pop it through the door, give it to your local trimmer. 250 quid. We'll see that there. The glass is nice. The electrics are good. No stereo or speakers. Obviously poverty spec order. The sills are good. The floors are good. The fuel tank's been removed and clean. The exhaust is good, and it's had new manifold and core plug. So, do you know what? That's a great little car. I think you could spend a bit of time and money on the paint to make it super, but that's a rare colour. I can tell you now, that's only the second 99 I've ever seen in that colour. That was a rare colour. I think they only did it for a year or two, and nobody ordered it. And it's just completely come back round. It's cool in the gang, that is. SL. Another one that's going to be very inexpensive, very good value for money. And as you can see in the back, it's got the pano roof as well. So you've got the soft top, which isn't latching at the moment. So there is a slight latching locking issue with this, which we will try and sort before the auction, but please bid on it, thinking there's a tiny bit to do. 4 former keepers, MOT till September 25, and 95,000 miles covered even, which is pretty low mileage for what it is. Good condition, I say pano roof, but the soft top is playing up, just the mechanism. Now, it could be something that we might be able to reset with a Mercedes technician, but if not, please bid with that in mind. Let me open it up for you and show you how nice it is inside. Please bid thinking I might have to spend a little bit of time and money on the roof to make it perfect. Some MOT certificates, verified mileage, and it's set to run and drive without faults. So there's an awful lot to love on this car, not least that roof, which is very expensive. Have a go on eBay and see how much they are. They're a lot. You can see there's a bit of a polish mark. You could definitely clean and re-dye or recolour this roof. You can see a little bit of a tear in the plastic. So that's where the money is to spend. But what I like about these SLs, same with the red one, if you can't be bothered or can't afford to get that work done, put the hardtop on. They look brilliant. They look brilliant with the roof on or off. It's got the genuine splits, which are a very expensive wheel as well. That has the potential to be a great car, and £5,000 to £7,000. Right, now into the middle. How about this? This is a rather lovely Ferguson tractor, historic tractor. Can be used for lots of things. You can actually use it to work. It's got a working power takeoff unit, if you fancy that. You could drive it to the pub, but obviously as long as you're not drinking while you're there. Do all sorts of things. You can drive it when you're 16 as well, so that's a bit of fun. Classic tractors like this Ferguson aren't a huge amount of money, somewhere between 1,500 quid and £2,500. You could take that home. It's a fun thing to have if you've got a man cave, a she shed, a big one. You could put it in there. You could dress a pub or restaurant with it. So many things you could do with that, but it works, it drives, it runs, and it says the PTO works as well, so you can actually make it work. So that's a bit of fun. Get buying that, I say, 1,400 to 22 on that one. And over to the bikes, look at this absolute monster. Look at this. I adore this. A 6-cylinder motorbike. Come and drink that in. Isn't that fabulous? Now this is a rather special thing. 1979 Kawasaki Z1300. Engine's been brought out to 1400cc using the Wisco big bore kit. It's been gas flowed, the inlet manifold's drilled for nitrous, but the vendor has removed that to keep the insurance sensible. Car box has been removed and replaced with filter pods. It's had a lot of work. Been replaced with a custom filter, cam tensioner has been replaced with an rated one, custom hydraulic clutch, custom side stand, adjustable monoshock. I think you're getting the picture. It's had a lot of love. It's beautifully, tastefully done. So really nice mods that just, I think, add to a wonderful bike. Battery's been replaced with a high capacity gel battery. It's got a fat rear tyre. It's got this wonderful, beautiful, restored finish everywhere you look. Now because of that, because of the amount of work that's gone into it, because of the fact it's a very tasteful custom, £7,500 to £10,000. You've got custom slab yokes on the front, inverse suspension from an R1 on the back with a single-sided rear wheel, which looks very, very cool. Aircraft fillers fitted, which I love. Look at that on the tank. It's just so good, isn't it? So much custom work, but so brilliantly done. Everything's done to a really nice standard. So a full custom bike, but done with really nice stuff. So a proper hot rod bike there. Absolutely love it. £7,500 to £10,000. That could be yours. Or do you prefer something a little older? Like the Francis Barnett. 1928 Francis Barnett, Super Sports, number 9. 3 to 4 grand this one. It's known to the Francis Barnett Owners Club. It's got a dating certificate and vehicle details. It's been stored for a lot of years and the registration documents have been lost, but it was re-registered back in 2023. Very original bike. It's got a later carb, which I think is a good idea. Chrome headlight, which isn't original, but that worked. You can actually see where you're going. It's even got the original pressurised bearings on this. It's had £100 worth of parts recently fitted. It runs, it rides. We've just spun it around the yard to make sure it's okay, so that you don't have to. But yeah, it probably was worth a little service and check over it if you fancy owning that yourself. Now the V5's in the vendor's name, it's got some parts invoices, some documents, and it's got a nice little bike, £3,000 to £4,000. Now moving on to a bit more power, certainly a little bit larger, and definitely a lot faster. The 1997 Suzuki Bandit. There's a fared bike, that one, offered for sale but never been used. What? How has that happened? So it's a new old stock Suzuki Bandit. That's a bit of a special thing, isn't it? Originally part of a dealer's who closed in 2000. So if you could wish, you could go back in time to 1997 and order yourself a Suzuki Bandit and bring it forward in time to today. Well, you can. So literally, this is how it would have come out of its packing case back in 1997 and then stuck in the showroom, never ridden, never used. So I would imagine this will always stay in a collection because of the condition. It would almost be financial suicide to start it and ride it. But then again, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun just to recommission it and have a brand new old stock 97 Bandit? A 28-year-old brand new motorbike. Now that is, we've talked about once in a lifetime opportunities. That really is one. Isn't that fabulous? There you go, brand new 1997 bike. Find another one of those. £4,500 to £5,500. So I think that represents very good value for money. Right, into the very saucy 2005 Aprilia RS125, this one. Brand new, registering 0 mile. We don't even know how they're finding these bikes now. This is ridiculous. This one's never even had fuel in the tank. This one, again, comes from an Aprilia dealer. and it was leftover stock. So another brand new old stock bike that they had from stock when they stopped selling. And there you go, you could be the first owner, the first rider, you could be the first person to put petrol in the tank. It's ridiculous. So it's factory fresh. It's a full power 27 horsepower, which was never sold officially here in the UK. Electric start, original spec. And it's the last of the curvy RS125s, that. So if you are a youth, an old youth, that remembers back in 2005, 20 years ago, maybe you're like 37, 38 now, and this was the bike you really wanted when you were 17, treat yourself. It was the fastest bike a 17-year-old could buy, that's for sure. And of course, Valentino Rossi won on this, didn't he? 1997 on an Aprilia RS125. Didn't hurt the reputation of these, that's for sure. So if you fancy something a little bit special, both those bikes, as I say, are literally brand new old stock. I can't get you younger or better than that. Or would you prefer, if you're more of a mod than a biker, a 1960 Lambretta TV175 Series 2? Really nice rare bike, these. It's had a full restoration over the last few years. It starts, it runs well. There's a couple of little minor marks on it, to be fair. It does need a registration plate. So the old one's with a history, but it's in very poor condition. So a tiny little bit of rectification to do, a new plate to make it nice. The tyres look brand new on it as well. Still got the pips on the side. And it's just a nice thing. £5,000 to £6,500 would buy you that beautiful, beautiful scooter. And finally, is your dream a Honda Super Dream? 1982, again, absolutely stunning. Very good condition. Again, being in a private collection. Just look at the details on the wheels. Look how nice that is for an 82 bike. Recommissioned about a year ago, and an MOT was carried out at the same time, although it is MOT and tax exempt, that bike. You don't have to MOT it, but I think it tells you how lovely our vendor is that they chose to. If you come around this side and look at all the casings and castings and how beautiful it is, it's not the easiest to walk through these bikes. We're packing them in our new bike room here. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. So hopefully you can find a bike there to suit. All right, back to the cars. Back onto four wheels now. We enjoy the bikes, but we love the cars. Look at this. 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfa Sud Sprint Veloce. One of my favourite cars, and we did do one of these on the show, but it wasn't as good as this, I have to say. Look at it. This, ladies and gents, is a bare shell restoration. It was a bare shell restoration only 1,000 kilometres ago, and the engine prior to that was rebuilt only 2,000 kilometres ago. Now, you might guess by the left-hand drive, it is a French car, originally registered by a French man, and I think it's had quite a cherished life before the bare shell resto. So have a look in there, look. Registered in France in 1980, history features invoices that show addresses all over France. Passed to someone else who's done the full bodywork resto, and we've got lots of pictures and history with this car as well. And it was bought in 2019 by a professional engineer who was actually an Alfa Romeo trained technician, which explains so much, doesn't it? Photographs of the engine build showing it to be absolutely thorough and meticulous. It's beautiful. Alphas are so nice, but it's very hard to find either 70s or 80s Alphas that aren't just a pile of dust or are about to turn into a pile of dust. This one really isn't that. Now you might be looking at this thinking, I would love that car if it was only right-hand drive. Left-hand drive cars, I think, are very good news for lots of reasons. A, they're a little bit less money if you buy them here in the UK. Also, when you come to sell them, if you sell them through an international platform, and of course we go all over the world, we will happily ship this back to France, Germany, Italy, any country you care to mention. If you're watching from the US and A, we sold, I think, 3 cars to America last week. So if you'd like to make it 4, we'll happily ship that one to California. And of course, being over 25 years old, it's going to be tariff free. I'm not going to do politics here, but yes, anything over 25 years old, no tariff on that. That's the good news. Now, you know that my childhood was reading copies of Custom Car and Street Machine magazine, so I think this is utterly, utterly excellent. Look at this. The only way this could have been any better for me, I think if I was doing all this amount of work making a Cortina van, I think I'd have roof chopped it as well. But that is a lot of hard work. But at least this way you can keep your baseball hat or your top hat on. Isn't this brilliant? Absolute bit of nonsense, this. 1965 Cortina Deluxe. As you can tell, she's not factory standard. You're not going to win the concours for factory fresh on this one. It's got a full van conversion. It's got shortened, it's got a Type 9 5-speed Sierra box in it as well. It's got a Z-Tech up front. There's a few bits to do. A little bit of micro blistering on the paintwork. No luxuries as carpets. You know, you don't got anything like that. You need to do all that because it's been prepared to track standard. And if you peek inside, you'll notice there is a roll cage in there. So this is like the GT3 RS of Corsina vans. So what would this be good for, other than really making people laugh on your next track day? I think it would look fantastic sign written with your business name on the side, particularly if you're into classic cars or Fords. That would be very good news for you. But you can see how much work's gone into it. You can see the crazy dash, all of the amazing expense and hard work. Just like I say, a few bits to do, just a little bit of micro blistering and a few bits to finish. But don't underestimate how much work it is to get a vehicle to look that good. You could buy this for somewhere between 8 and 10. I think it screams promotional vehicle. I think you'd have an awful lot of fun either sign writing or vinyling that up. I think that could be great for your business. Or very, very funny on track, whichever you prefer. It's also shorter, so it will swap ends very easily. Drift machine, that one. Other end of the classic car scale, a Herald. What's not to love about a Herald? 1200 this one, 1964. And isn't that just achingly pretty? I do love a Herald. We did one on the show, actually. They drive really well. Two things to remember about the Herald. A lot of driving school cars were Heralds in period because they're very easy and light to drive. Also, one of the tightest turning circles. Only car with a better turning circle than this is London Taxi. This one's known as Betty. She's got an MOT till May 2025. She's been looked after by the vendor, had a lot of work carried out, and he's had Betty for 7 years, had a full resto and reformed her to a former state, lovely two-tone respray, repair on the engine and gearbox around 2018. And I like this car very much. I like the colours. The paint is decent. It's what I'd call a daily driver standard of repaint. So it's very good. Tiny bit of orange peel. You could actually wet flat this paint. If you look at the paint here, it's been very well applied, but just a little bit peely. But actually you could mop and correct that and make this car look absolutely sensational. Inside is gorgeous. I have to say, wood's very good. Interior is immaculate. There's a box of spares. Loads of history with the car. Lots of great stories. And like I say, I think if you want to just spend a little bit of time on the paint or just enjoy it like it is. It's not going to be a lot of money though. The 60 stuff is really getting very affordable now. 1964, 1200, say £5,000 to £6,000. You can hear how much fun the team's having in the background. This one's back in, lower guide price on this one is now this gorgeous RX-7. Just gives me an excuse to say wankle and not get told off. The Wankle Rotary. Fantastic sports car, the car that Mazda introduced to hand it to Porsche, and I think they did that rather well actually. And of course, very attractive, very collectible car today. 86,000 miles from a private collection. It's a really nice level car. There's a few bits it's had. There's a bit of an imperfection on the bonnet. It looks like it's been shut on something on the bonnet there. You're going to need your dent guide just to get that down and get it repainted. There's a couple of little bits where it's had repairs, I think on the roof into the back here. You can just see there's a little bit there that needs doing. So I'd give it like a good 4 out of 5 on the body and paint. So either just enjoy it for what it is, a very lovely, tidy, presentable car with an immaculate interior. Interior is next level clean. And that's the hard thing to get right on these. Bodywork is very straightforward, as long as it's all there. What would you pay for that? £11,000 to £12,000 for a very rare car, and they are enormous amounts of fun. They're so light, they're so well balanced. They really are a beautiful thing to drive. Right, it's half term, so the kids are off. They'll be watching Harry Potter. Great film. And they'll be wanting to fly like Ron Weasley. If you want to fly like Ron Weasley, can't guarantee this car will actually do that, but it will certainly make you have just a little touch of that magic. 11 to 13 grand for this 67 Anglia. I must stress for legal reasons it doesn't fly, but it really looks like it could. Proper replica of the Weasley Mobile. 29,000 miles on this lovely older restoration. You can just see a few little bits starting to come through, which is the honesty of an older restoration because it's sat in this paint for a long, long time. Beautiful inside. 3 previous owners. The vendor states the vehicle runs and drives well. We've started it and moved it around, and it certainly does, I have to say. Some old MOT, some magazines, some handbooks, some invoices, some receipts. A couple of services invoices. One from 2011 at 24,000, one from 2006 at 20. So it's just not been anywhere. Paint is really good actually. I would get those little imperfections done because the rest of the paint is so nice. I think you've almost got a club level concourse car there with very little expenditure. And of course, being such a low mileage car, it's worth spending the money on. That's gorgeous. There's a few Anglias for sale, but not many in that condition. That is very nice. How about this? How about you would like a Jaguar SS? You don't quite have the required money because they are very expensive. I think to most people, this would give you 95% of the ownership experience for a significantly lower cost. This is a Suffolk SS100 from 2021. It's been registered in IVA, as you can see. So this is quite a convincing replica of a Jag SS. So like I say, all of the fun, none of the fuss on these. British Racing Green, is there any other colour you'd order your Jaguar in? And it's actually a kit by Suffolk Sports Cars, and it's ready to drive. So it's got a little bit of light cosmetics to do. It's very clean, as you can see. The paintwork is really quite good. It's had some recent mechanical service work as well. And the car was built in 2021, so it's only been together for 4 years. Like I say, a couple of little flakes in the paint. There's no wet weather gear. Just tiny bits to do. It's a great car for you to buy and put the final 5% on yourself. There's a lot to be said for that. 25 to 28,000 pounds. Now how about this? I think this is one of the most underrated Porsches. I do love transaxle Porsches. So that's where you've got your engine at your front, you've got your gearbox and rear axle together at the back. They're enormous fun. The handling on these cars is superb. Started of course with the 924, morphed into the 944, became the 968. Now the 968 that everybody wants is the Club Sport, because it was obviously a much more focused machine. It was effectively the GT RS of its day. This is an interesting one because, believe it or not, although everybody fights for them now, at the time Porsche struggled to sell the Club Sports because they were considered to be too poverty spec, because they had windy windows, very basic stuff. What makes them very rare and collectible today. But what Porsche did, believe it or not, is they actually effectively Lux packed up some of the Club Sports, so they put a little bit more trim and spec on them, and that's what this is. This is a Club Sport that in period by Porsche was made a little bit more luxurious. So it's got official Porsche certificate confirming it is a factory Club Sport. People in Porsche circles will know. You can see just spinning around. That's coming, look, literally a late arrival. Look at that. If you like a big Ford pickup that you can actually sleep in the back of, that's coming later. Just arrived, hot off the press, that one. That's what we like. It's all happening down here at Barron's, you know. So this is very interesting because normally these are an awfully large amount of money. But this one, being a slightly higher mileage, 122,000 miles. It's got the cup wheels on as well, which I love. It's got the toolkit. It's just a nice car. Guards red, of course, which is the ultimate colour to have your Porsche in. But because it's got the electric windows and roof, to the purists, it isn't the normal Club Sport. But for that reason, you get much more car for your money. You get all the dynamic ability of a Club Sport, but you get that little bit of extra luxury, which makes it cheaper, bizarrely. So I like that car very much. 12 to 15,000 pound. That could be sitting in your driveway, or you could be thrashing it around the Nürburgring, of which it will do very well. Now, cars that I love for the summer, to waft behind a V8 in a soft top, 1976 Triumph Stag. Isn't that just the way to travel? I love that. Current MOT, recent invoices for work. The car has covered 84,000 miles. Guess what it's got? The thing you always want on a Stag. New head gaskets, new timing chains, new water pump and sprockets. The electric windows work. The seats were refurbished a few years ago, and the radio works as well. So not only do all the things go up and down that you want, but you can have your tunes on while you're driving along. Some old invoices, some old MOTs going all the way back to 83. Bearing in mind this is a 76. And what surprises me about Stags now, these used to be enormous amounts of money. These used to be like 30 grand cars. And even though this is a very presentable example, a really nice usable example, 6 to 8, they really have hit a very sensible price point. It's an auto, so it wafts. What a lovely thing. Not a Concours example, it's just a really lovely, nice, presentable car that you will want to use. And I say this all the time, Concours cars are all very well, and I've built a few. I've built a few really crazy show cars, but you never use them. Stuff like this, which certainly looks very lovely, that's the stuff that you use. That's the stuff that you get out, you know, and if the kids lean their bike against it, it's not the end of the world. If you get a stone chip, it's not the end of the world. Buy stuff like this, sub 10 grand, really nice presentable cars that you could also polish probably another £1,000 into. That's where the fun is in the classic car game, my friends. How about this? 1966 Jaguar E-Type Coupe Series 1, the car that everybody described at the time as the most beautiful car in the world. The car that even Enzo Ferrari agreed was beautiful. This is the one where all the fuss is about, with the faired-in lights, the prettier look, the prettier backlights. Desirable 66 with a 4.2 and all synchro gearbox. It was off the DVLA radar until 2009. It's only had 3 owners since. It's had loads of work done, The rebuilt rear cage, stainless steel exhaust, new brakes, new tyres. Have a look at the pictures of this online. Look at the pictures of the underside. It's beautiful work. It's not a matching numbers car, which is going to make it cheaper. It does have the correct 7E engine, and it does have a really nice bonnet on this as well. Just a good looking car. Now, you can easily spend well into 6 figures on an E-Type. But why would you when you could drive this for 50 to 60? Have all the fun of the fair. Let me open the door and show you inside. It's got the 4.2, the 7E engine, as I said. Just look at it. Absolutely. If I can get the door open. There you go. It's sticking. There you go. Isn't that gorgeous? I like that very much indeed. Great colour as well. So 50 to 60. So Series 1 Fun, which everybody agrees is the most beautiful of all the Jaguars, for probably half of what some of the more expensive cars can go for. That's appealing to me. Now, I think we need to go outside and look at that truck. Now, I'm delighted to announce, in the best spirit of live television, 2 brand new arrival, literally still warm from the oven. They've just arrived this second. We've just managed to squeeze them into today's walk around video. First of all, drink this in, one of my favourite cars ever made, 2007 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 Coupe. Do not confuse this with a standard Mustang, although there's nothing wrong with a standard Mustang. I love them dearly. GT500 was an extensively re-engineered car by Shelby, and I was lucky enough to go to the factory, funny enough, I think in about 2005, when these were being built, and they are just magnificent things. Obviously, a tip of the hat to the original GT500. This one's red, as you can see, really nice condition. It's just freshly imported from the USA. It's only done 56,000 miles, and it's manual, of course. Newly serviced with a brand new MOT, and they're quick anyway. So these are a bigger engine. They're a 5.4 litre supercharged. Now, the standard car is 450 brake. We have it on good authority. This was breathed upon in the US of A, and it's nearer to 650, 700. So if you want something that is an actual genuine Ferrari killer with a whole load of redneck charm, this is the car. They are just stunning. Much, much quicker than a standard Mustang, much more desirable than a standard Mustang, which is already a very desirable car. Has a much squatter stance on Eibach springs. That's why I was at the factory all those years ago, going out there with Eibach as their PR guy to see these cars being made. And it was a wonderful experience. You could buy that somewhere between £25,000 and £28,000 to spank any supercar from the period that you care to name, and probably most of the modern supercars as well. And you can go have it serviced at any specialist or your local Ford dealer. That's mega. Get that bought. Or if that's not big enough for you, how about this? How about a 1976 Ford Super Cab pickup? That is a big old bus. If you like to buy your cars in length alone, that's a bit special. 6.6 litre V8, that one. Stunning colour, the Bigfoot blue. It's been in storage for a while, this one. Rides, drives, runs beautifully, but because it's been in storage, the odd little dent, the odd little mark on it, a little bit of pitting on the chrome. It just smells a bit fuely. We're going to put a new fuel filter and a few other bits and pieces on there as well. It's been in storage for 9 months, but she starts on the button, and as you can see, she fills our ramp beautifully. If you do want to buy this, have a big drive or an even bigger garage. She is a unit. But come and have a look inside. It's gorgeous inside. A lot of space. Massive bench seat with a column shift, of course. Really nice interior on this as well. Come through there and have a look. Now, if you want to do any kind of American car show, tow anything, pull anything, it would look great with a classic car behind. And in terms of practicality, just look at the size of the bed. That's been wrapped as well, look, so that's really usable and well protected. The condition is lovely. I think you could make this spectacular with not too much work. And for that, you would pay the grand total, I guess, of around £22,000, which I think you'd struggle to find one in America to this standard, bring it over it, import it, and pay all your taxes. And if that wasn't enough, the final lastminute.com, this is literally after the end credits have rolled, we've got this one to put in. The gentleman just seen us consigning cars. Can I put a car on your auction on Saturday? Of course you can. Particularly if it's this 1998 323 E36 convertible. I think one of the finest looking BMWs. Let's go through some of the highlights. First of all, let's talk about the colour. This is sea green. This is such a rare colour. It's one model year only. This model year, nobody ordered it. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, Mir Grun it's called. You never see them, do you? It's 323, 110,000 miles. Previous vendor to this, the previous owner to this, had the car for 23 years. Can you believe that? Hardly used in the last 10 years. Really lovely. Factory hardtop, which is just worth an enormous amount of money. That's in immaculate condition, apart from a tiny little dent there. And then here, if you look on the back, there's just a tiny bit of bubbling, which is really weird how it's gone there. I'd imagine that's probably a chip or a scratch that's gone over, because if you look at how that's cauliflower, the rest of the car is so clean, just there. Particularly on the arches, where they're normally bad news on an E36. These are fantastic. So super straight on the body, super rare colour, lovely history that's not been used much. Cloth seats, which is unusual on a cab as well. I really like the spec of this, you know. And automatic, so 323 auto. Little tiny bit of bodywork to do. But what a clean, lovely and level car. And the best bit, my friends, that car is no reserve. So if you want to buy yourself a bit of cheap summer fun, I can't unfortunately tell you how good the roof is. We haven't had the roof off, the hardtop roof off, to have a look. So bid on it knowing that we haven't inspected the roof either for function or condition. But I would say, looking at the rest of the car, it's probably going to be pretty good. Because apart from that weird cauliflower on the back, which I would suggest is a stone chip or a scratch that's been left to go over, the car is almost immaculate. It's really nice, but no reserve. So there you go, we're going to sneak that one in as a bit extra fun for you. So there you go, that is our walk around for Saturday the 12th. If you see anything you like, don't forget you need to register to bid. The sale's going live around lunchtime, but you can come down in the morning, have a look, you can look online. Of course, you can put your commission bids in if you'd like to bid before the sale, if you can't make it. But either way, register to bid. Make sure you've liked and subscribed to these amazing auction walkarounds. And whether it's in person or in digital form, I'll see you on Saturday.